Hello, creative people. This is Kay Jett. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from East Central Indiana. And we're going to do a pop up card today. So it's a little more involved than last week. A few things I want to remind you about first. Celebration has one more month. It's good until the end of February. And so with any shopping, if you spend at least $50, you get free items, and they've added free items to this. If you spend $100, those are towards the back. Uh, and again, they've added new $100 items as well. Also, want to let you know the glass mat uh, free option is still available for anyone wanting to join my team or just join Stamping Up any other team. You spend $99, you get $125 worth of supplies, and you get this wonderful glass mat. And I found the rest of the pieces. It has this neat tray that you can use. The little Stampin' spots fit in these slots, and then you can mix some of your inks and water. You can store things here. Has a great chamois that you can clean off your mat with. So it's a nice addition to your crafting. So don't miss out. Today I am using from the mini catalog the Be Mine Suite, and we're using some of the wonderful designer series paper as well as the Be Mine stamps. We're making bees today, so we're going to have some fun with that. And I've also used one of the dies for the hearts from the Hooray for Surprises. And I've also used the dies from the Thoughtful Expressions here. They have wonderful little hummingbird, some nice flowers, great sayings, but it also has some wonderful graduated dies that you can cut out for placing your sentiments. And so we'll share those with you today. Also, decided to use the Cheerful Daisies stamp set from the annual catalog. So all these items are still available. And again, if you shop, make sure you stop at my Stampin' Up store, kjet.stampinup.net. And then here's my email if you have any questions. We're on Facebook, and we have a brand new post code for orders under $150. So let's get started. Again, these are the stamp sets I'm using: Be My Valentine, Cheerful Daisies, and I'm using the dies from Hooray for Surprises and the Thoughtful Expressions. Here's our card, celebrating Valentine's Day. So I decided we could do a pop-up card. And a pop-up card comes in many different variations, but basically the simplest one is based on a square that we make, and then it gets glued to the back of your card. And so when you open the card, this wonderful little whatever you put on it pops up and says hello. So I thought, well, if we can do a single pop-up, we can do a triple pop-up. And so they're all based on that simple rectangle that I've stacked up on top of each other. So we've got lots of bees going today. The inspiration for this card came from this DSP where the bees are carrying around hearts. And so all my little bees are carrying around hearts. And who do you think they're giving them to but the daisy flowers? And I've also made my flowers have a little attitude using the bee faces. You can almost make them alive as well. So these three bees are delivering hearts to these flowers. This one in the middle has already delivered his heart to the large flower in the center, and she's holding it in her leafy hand. This little flower is getting one from this bee, so she's got a leafy hand raised up to catch it. But then this little flower has a little attitude because her bee is, you can tell by his face, he's got something else in mind. And so she's not too impressed by that. And you can see I put her leafy hands on her daisy hips. And I thought, well, if these were roses, she could be putting her hands on her rose hips. I love puns. What can I say? So let's get started on this card. And I just used temporary adhesive for those. So the first thing we're going to do is attach our designer series paper. And these are, let me measure here, 5 1/4 by 4. All 4 of them. Here's the one I put on the front. Got a little extra glue on that, so I want to just spread it around. And we've got about 1/8 of an inch reveal all the way around this designer series paper. And then on the inside, where the sky is, and it works as the background for the bees, we're going to use this little swoop. Actually has honey jars on the back. And again, we have 1/8 of an inch reveal all the way around that paper. And then here on the ground, I have a piece of paper with the little daisy flowers. Again, it's the back side of another bee piece. And the color of this is Sweet Sorbet. It's one of our in colors. It's going to retire in April, at the end of April. So, oh, and I just put it on the wrong side. Well, wasn't thinking. We have daisies for that side. So we're going to go ahead and make our mechanics. And what I did was find my directions. The pop-up mechanism is 5/8 of an inch by 7, scored at 1/2 inch, 1 1/4 inch, 3 3/4 inch, and 4 1/2 inches. The next one up is 5/8 of an inch by 7 1/2 inches, scored at 1/2 inch, 1 1/4 inch, 3 inches, and 3 3/4 inches. And this one will go on top of the large one. Okay, and then this one, as soon as I find there it is. This one's going to be scored at 1/2 inch. And then 1 1/4 of an inch. And then 2 1/4 inches. and 3 inches. And I'm using my scoring blade instead of the cutting blade. That would be very bad. And again, we'll construct this one. And I like to trim off just the corners of these so they don't happen to stick out. Not that they would be particularly noticeable, but I'm just taking a little bit off the sides so that when it gets glued, there won't be any pieces standing out. There. And then this gets glued on top of those 2 rectangles. And again, I want to match them up at the back. And so you see, I just have this side will get glued to the back side of the card, and then this side will get glued to the front of the card. And if, need a pointer, if the rise is equal to the step length, all our pop-up items will pile up together. And the main thing is you don't want the pop-ups to encroach beyond the edge of the card. So there's a little bit of practice to make sure, and alteration to make sure these are going to fit. So I will go ahead and glue this to the back of my card. Here. And I want to be sure that I'm gluing it 3/4 of an inch from the edge. So I'm going to line up my card with my grid on the glass mat. I want to line it up. Each one of these squares is 1/4 of an inch. So I want to line it up with this darker line and this darker line up here. And so whoop. We're gluing it to the back side right there, like that. Now, before we glue the bottom side down, I want to put my flowers on. And so I used them with from the Cheerful Daisies bundle. And you can add faces to them, or you can choose not to. It doesn't matter. But one thing I did was to color in their faces with the petal pink. So I'm coloring in the face with a light petal pink. And if you do your stamping with the Memento Tuxedo Black, you don't have to worry about the black running into the rest of the alcohol marker when you're doing the coloring. And then I'm going to use dark petal pink on their cheeks. There. And of course, alcohol markers soak through, so we want to be aware of that. This one I already glued on the stem, so all we have to do is glue her down. And I'm going to dot the stem. She can get glued to here. About the center between the mechanism and the edge. Then we can glue the next one down. And then we'll glue the last one down. Come on. And then I need my leaves. Okay, so for this one over here, she will have just straight leaves. We don't have to do anything drastic to hers. One will be reaching up. One I can put down. This one leaf arm on the large flower is going to be straight. I'm just going to set it a little bit behind this gal. And then the other one, I'm going to cut the tip off. And then I need one of the hearts because that bee has already given his heart to the middle size or to the large flower. So I'll stick a heart in her hand. And then I take the end and rotate it and glue it on top of the heart so it looks like she's actually grasping this one little pink heart. Pull that heart out, otherwise you can't tell what it is. There. There we go. And then that arm can be attached to the large flower. And then this one, we're going to cut the tip of the leaf off, again at an angle. So we have this leaf and this leaf. And then I'm going to use a different angle for the other leaf. So we actually have left and right hands and not two left ones. And so for this flower in the middle, because she was grasping her heart already, you lift that up so you can see. So here's our cuts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the two. So to make it look like a hand that is grasping, we just turn it upside down. But this time we turn them upside down, or we don't turn them upside down. We switch them so it actually makes the arm kind of curve in. So I'm going to glue this arm to this side. And then the tip of the other leaf that's glued to the bottom. And then that extra glue. This arm gets glued to the other side. And then the tip of the original gets glued over here. So then she looks totally put out with her hands on her daisy hips. So now that we have our flowers down, now we can finish putting the rest of this mechanism down. And I'm going to add adhesive from the inside corner up to where the first score line is. There it is. And I think I'll just start at that score line and scoot down here. And then when we close the card, it'll be in perfect position for my bees. Okay, so to make the bees, you stamp them out with the stamp. So there's a bee body. There are wings that I've done on vellum, and there are antennae, which also cut out with the same punch that I used to cut out the pink hearts. So let me get the punch out. And then to utilize the punch, I push this lever open, and then the punch opens up. So our first bee, we insert into the punch and line it up where the cutting line is for the bee. And you can put the kind of press on the punch to check your location before you actually do the punch. So there's a bee. And then for another one, I would just push it down and punch again. And then for the wings, they're punched out with the larger heart. Again, we insert the vellum and squeeze down a little bit to make sure, check on your placement, and punch. Now I stamped these with, I don't know if you can see that. I stamped them with the Pool Party ink, and since vellum doesn't like to accept ink very well, you kind of have to think ahead and do your stamping almost the night before, so it's got plenty of time to dry. Otherwise, it can tend to slide off as you're adjusting your stamp piece. And then I've already cut out the little antennas, and I used the small heart for that. So then what we're going to do is a little stamping. And I'm going to use Memento Black because we have to make a face for this little bee. And there are 4 different faces that come in with the in the stamp set. So you can make them happy, you can make them irked, you can make them really happy, and then you can also make that one kind of ornery looking face. So I just put it right down here. And because these are photopolymer stamps again, they're the clear ones. So I use my Stampin' Pierce mat to stamp on. It just gives it a little cushion. You're guaranteed a better looking stamp. And again, we will glue the wings onto the back of the body. And this was something I had to adjust, especially for the inside of the card. At first, the wings were on too high, and then the wings were sticking out when I closed the card. So what I had to do was kind of just scoot the wings down a little bit closer. Here's one. Here's that ornate one. So you can see his wings aren't nearly as high as this little bee. And then again, we'll glue the antenna on. Finally got a small drop of glue. And those go up front here. So that's our bee. And I went ahead and made all the bees for the inside. And then he still needs a heart. So we will glue a heart on him. Here. And then I had to use a Stampin' Right marker to give them some arms so that they're actually hanging on to their hearts. And these have 6 legs, so I had to at least put a suggestion of legs on them. This one didn't need it quite so much, mainly because he's already given away his heart, so he can draw in his arms. But these guys who were hanging on to hearts, I needed some arms. Okay. Now we're ready to put the bees down, and we're only going to put adhesive on the rise of each of these steps. And this tape, it's wonderfully strong, but we kind of have a love-hate relationship here. Here. And here. There. Okay. So this one, let me move this out of the way. This one is giving his heart to this first flower. This one's already given his heart, so he can be flying away. I'm going to scoot him over a little bit. And this one has some ornery intentions in mind, so I'm going to have him tilted up. Like he's going to fly way up this way before he comes back to give his heart to the other lady, the other flower. So here's our pop-up. And when we close them, they tend to align because the rise is the same length as the step. And when we close, they're not sticking out. And that's the main thing you want to watch on pop-up cards, is that they don't encroach beyond. Okay, let's work on the front. Oh, and I forgot to put my inside sentiment on, which normally would have gone on the daisy paper, but since I've messed that up, we'll just put it on the regular cardstock. This is the heart I cut out of using the Hooray for Surprises. And because the pop-up part of the card adds bulk, I can actually put some of these hearts and flowers that go with the suite we could put some little embellishments on this side. So I'll use one of these. These embellishments don't stick up very far, but, and then I can sign my name down here on the bottom. Get a little yellow one to match these. There we go. The inside is done. For the outside, because this was so busy, I decided to utilize the die from Thoughtful Expressions. Yes, the die from Thoughtful Expressions and cut out a vellum, because then when I put the vellum down and I add another B in sentiment, it's not as busy. So we're going to build on the vellum first. And I have one more bee with tall wings and a happy face. And then I used another size from this Thoughtful Expressions to stamp Happy Valentine's Day. And then I punched out one of the larger hearts using the bee punch again. We need to glue that to him. And again, I need to draw on some arms. That's the wrong one. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue this to the vellum. Because once we attach this to the vellum, we'll know where we can put glue on the vellum to attach it to the rest of the card. Yeah, and I glued this to the vellum. You can also use dimensionals and pop it up. And then I know I can put ink or put glue here, here, and here without worrying about it showing. And glue that down to the front. Okay, our pop-up card is done, and it was fun, I hope. A little more involved, but not impossible. And I hope you enjoy doing one of these. If you do, go ahead and post it on our Facebook page. I'd love to see your works. We have a new host code whenever you order with me, CMEHXKT9. So if you can use that when you order, I would appreciate it. And also if you could hit like, subscribe, and share on my YouTube channel, I would appreciate that too. So I hope you have a great day the rest of the day. We finally had some sunshine earlier, and I hope you all go out and create every day. Bye now.